got Yoda.
Yeah, baby Yoda's here, having some breakfast, dressed down a little today, just keeping it cool, keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
I love Baby Yoda. That doesn't mean I love the Mandalorian TV show though. I watched the first season and a half and then got distracted and haven't been back to it, but my love for Baby Yoda remains. So
Okay.
I can see.
Honestly have not watched any of them. I have no idea. I mean, I know the name. I kind of know what you're talking about, but
If I go like this and look around my office and sit like this and look around my office, I can see 11 references to Baby Yoda. It is a thing.
well, clearly. It's
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I am the demographic. Like they made him look like this for a reason with the big black eyes and the baby proportions.
Yeah.
Like it is to get the female demo
To be like, oh, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't care. I totally accept that's what's happening. And I say, good job, creators. Good job.
Yeah.
You got me.
You nailed it. Cool. Let's show us your cup because it's funny. It says what?
Don't get your tinsel in a tangle.
And I was telling you the other day that reminded me of something I saw on social media. It was a meme and it said, jingle all the way because nobody likes a half-ass jingler.
That's right. Give it your all, folks.
Which I thought was funny.
I don't know that I've ever shown my microphone either.
Oh, you should, because it's covering Baby Yoda's face.
I did. Well, yeah. So Baby Yoda, please bask in Baby Yoda.
The lovely.
But also, I knew that this was coming up. I knew that the New Year countdown was coming up. So I glitzed. I glammed. And I was like, okay, usually the microphone's here in the way. I didn't realize it was going to be too low for this to make a difference. But in the meantime, I got myself some spangles. Look at this is just a sticker. It just came as a wrap. It's just around and it is glam.
And I mean, look at the size of it in proportion to Baby Yoda.
Yeah, like if we were to.
It's. Wow. It could be like a baby R2D2 sort of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I have to say the tweezers conversation yesterday it touched a nerve with a bunch of people apparently.
It did. Well, and someone pointed out, and I thought about this after we finished for the day, that it sounded like you were rearing up to tell a story and we didn't actually get to the story.
There was no story. I did not lose my tweezers, and I was going to address that anyway. So I'm glad you brought that up. I did not lose my tweezers. There was no story about that. No one got murdered. The only point of sharing the scissors reference was so that you would relate to the importance of the tweezers.
Yeah. No, definitely relatable. We discovered that for a lot of people, it is relatable.
Yes, absolutely. So, and then I just cracked up, laughed out loud when I read the comment. Thanks for sharing, by the way, to the person who shared that their job has to do with like circuit boards and tiny things and they use their pliers.
I told you that's an option. You got your tools there. What are you going to do?
And the woman who's like, yeah, Pavlov tweezers, we're talking about it. She has some at her desk or something. And she's like, starts in as we're talking about it.
I love that. That was great.
So funny. So, my mom, well, and I do too. Sometimes you get these ones on your neck and they're fine and they're already gray. So you know it's there, but you can't see it. So I feel like the natural progression here is to talk about the little tiny electric razor thingy where you just go ring.
Well, a lot of the younger generation now are doing, I forget, they're calling it microplaning rather than shaving, but it's basically a razor blade at the end of a stick and they go through and just and they're just shaving it off.
And then you shave your peach fuzz as well as the coarse ones. And I'm like, you know what? Do what you
Yeah.
got to do. There is no shame. There is no judgment. You do what you got to do, girl.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And it does not grow back coarser. That was the thing that,
That's
like,
a
I remember
myth.
hearing.
I know.
That's total myth. The hairs that are thicker are just thicker. They just feel thicker because you're giving it a blunt cut. That's all. That's the only reason.
And here's the thing.
Um,
I'm not a proponent of shaving anything. You do what you want to do. There's no judgment.
yeah, do what you want to do.
If you want to have that's a whole other topic. The leg hair,
Yeah.
either shave it or don't shave it. It doesn't matter. I don't have any judgment about
Yeah.
that. I have no idea who
Whatever.
started that or why. Why?
The
Why?
cultural expectations vary, and even within the US it varies. It
Oh, of
varies
course.
around the world.
Yeah.
We had So I went to a women's college, and there were women doing all kinds of things, like whatever they wanted to do. And a lot of ladies would just sort of stay in that area when they were done graduated. It's just a
Yeah.
woman heavy area. There was a woman I remember in the town who had almost a full beard, and she just like embraced it. She was like, I'm the bearded lady of this town, and she just had a big personality.
Yeah.
And if you
You do
ran
you.
into her, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you do you. And then there was another lady who worked at the university who also had like a beard sort of situation. And she was much more mild mannered and she just lived her life. She
Right.
didn't make it part of
Right.
her personality. And then, just different people have different amounts of hair and do what you
So
want to
there
do.
was this guy I worked with one time, and he was like a swimmer, and he shaved everything. I mean,
Yeah.
shaved his like forearm hair, right? And he was bald, and I mean, he was
Yeah.
his thing. He shaved right. But then other people that I know that are women, they don't shave their underarm hair or their legs, and I'm like, it does not matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. Yeah. Whatever. So I told my kids growing up, I'm like, you do whatever's comfortable for you. It's fine. You do whatever you want.
Whatever. And it helped. I mean, our kids were like basically raised in the Philippines, and there it's like
Right.
most women don't shave their legs. Like, it's some will do armpit, some won't. Like, so they're just sort of, yeah, there's 3 female bodied people in this household, and we all have different
Preference.
things we've decided to do.
It's just preference.
It's preference,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I don't think men get to have an opinion about that. Honestly, I do not
Nope.
think men get to have an opinion. I'm like, you just worry about your own self. Yes.
Who cares? Why do they think we care?
What they think?
Like, why? Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that gets me is like, why do you think I care what your opinion
What
is?
your opinion is about my body hair.
Right. Especially
Agree.
especially when you're past the dating pool, or you're just like you're just like, I'm not in the dating pool. I don't care. Like, I really don't care what anyone has to say at this point in my life.
Oh, for sure.
Like, whatever.
And
I'm happy.
I don't think that men care what I think.
No.
I mean, I might have
There's this great thing going around where it's like, because like different sort of discussion online where like men are all like, you gotta be buff, you gotta be whatever, whatever. And then they get upset when like a celebrity goes after a comedian, or it's like dating a comedian instead of like a buff guy. Like, they get like, it hurts their ego. And people are like, you obviously don't understand what is attractive to most women.
Right.
It's not bulges all over. It's that you're nice, and you're not hugely egotistical, and you're funny, and like, stop ignoring what women are showing you.
Right.
That they're interested in.
They would rather date the funny, sensitive, cool dude that's, maybe not as buff, but he's, sensitive and caring and funny and has a conversational talent. And
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Anyway,
Opinions.
lest we stereotype. Yeah. You do you.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure we circled back in case there was a tweezer story. So I'm glad that we
No,
didn't miss
but it
out
was
on.
funny this morning when you texted me and you're like, I'm going to be about 5 minutes late. And I'm like, did you lose your tweezers?
Oh, I didn't. I was like moving along. So we record, it's well into my morning when we record, and it's
Yeah,
sort of
there's
mid-morning
2
for
hours.
Jana.
There's 2 hours time difference.
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah. And so I normally I'm just like I get up, I work out, I get ready for the day, I have some food. That was the path I was following today. And for some reason, it just was like everything took like 2% longer today for some reason. I don't know.
We all have days like that. It's okay.
Just one of those days.
Yeah,
So
fine.
anyway, we're
It's
here.
fine.
We're
And
talking.
sometimes when that happens, when one of us texts the other one and say, I need 5 minutes more, the other one's like, oh, yay. Because one of
Yeah.
my
Perfect.
fine. It's totally okay. Not to worry.
Yeah, because I could have killed myself to get on, I could have, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna
No. Well, at this
I'm
time of the
just
day,
honoring what
yes,
my body's doing today, which is
fine.
moving at 98% speed.
It's
So
fine. And you know that
yeah,
because of the time of the day it is for me, I'm still eating breakfast, drinking my second or third cup of
right.
coffee, and it's okay. We are winding down. We're winding down. I feel like,
It's day 11, so we're over a third of the
yeah, and I
way.
don't mean winding down the podcast. I mean like winding down, like I need to get moving with the Christmas preparations. Like I seem to kind
Oh,
of, I'm like, the deadline's looming because while we don't
yeah.
celebrate Christmas in the traditional way necessarily, we do gifts and whatever. And we'll do some of that earlier this year for family members that are traveling elsewhere. And I'm like, I need to
Mhm.
get it in gear with the preparations.
Yeah. I told you as we were talking ahead of starting, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving my house today. And the plan was to do that yesterday, but the reason why I wanted to leave the house, I am such a hermit. Um,
Same.
which is so funny. Like I have two sides to me, Jana. I have the side that's in Shetland and the side that's here. And when I'm in Shetland, I am out and about and doing stuff. I'm meeting people for lunch. I'm popping in and being like, what's cool in this shop? I'm running errands.
Mhm.
I'm like conferring with people. How can I best support your business? Like all of the, like I am out and about. And then when I get to my home, I am like Adam, my husband, does most of the grocery shopping. He runs most of the errands. I just like become this little hermit person.
Same.
And so I was like, oh, it's been, I think, so we're filming this on Sunday.
Right.
And I think I did go to the grocery store this week. So I left my house twice this last week.
Well, that's more than me.
And it's like I work from home,
Yep.
I work from
Same.
home. So
Yep.
it's very easy for that to happen.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of should probably leave the house just for, you know. So I was going to go to the craft store. I'm bringing it back to the Christmas decoration things.
Okay.
I saw a lady she went to Goodwill and she found an old wreath, like just a artificial wreath, and then like the gold, like the fuzzy tinsel stuff, swag stuff,
Oh, like
that you would put on your Christmas tree.
yeah, yeah,
Garland,
yeah,
garland,
yeah.
and wrap that around, spaced about like that around the wreath.
Okay.
And then she did all of hers through thrift stores.
Okay.
And then she got like a big bag of vintage glass ornaments and glued those all around. And then she had like broken jewelry and she had like the pendants and like big pearls and stuff. And she glued that on. And I was like, that is so gorgeous.
Hot glue
I
gun.
want
That'd
to
be
make that.
fun. That would be fun. That'd be a fun
Yeah.
crafty thing to do. I like a hot glue gun. I just like that part.
Anything with a hot glue gun, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have broken jewelry. I have random beads that are never going to end up in a project.
Yeah.
I just need the wreath base and a whole bunch of the globe thing. So I'm going to start at a thrift store and get what I can find. But I think I'm going to probably end up at like a Michael's and like get enough for the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and make a super awesome cool wreath today. That is my
We'll look
fun
for
time.
seeing that.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't bring it up unless I bring it up.
Okay, no pressure. Don't bring it up unless I bring. All right, I will say when you said you hadn't been anywhere in a while, I'm like, that made me think. When's the last time I went anywhere? And I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And
you're way more self-sufficient than I am.
No, my husband does the shopping.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
But we do have a lot of stuff in the freezer, and I like really don't need to go to the store unless I want something like orange juice or something I wouldn't necessarily have preserved on my shelf.
Right.
Coffee creamer, that's a must. That's a priority. That will make me drive 50 miles round trip for coffee creamer. So I had to look back on a receipt to see what the date was when I went to town last.
Wow.
And it was not this month. It was the 28th of November is the last time I left the property.
Well, you've been in since then because you had to take candy in.
Yeah, that was the
but it was after we started recording. There was another time too. Yeah, because you were like, "Oh, I went in, but I didn't take your box."
Oh.
Okay. There was another time, sometime in the last, I think it's been over a week though. I think it's been over a week.
Yeah, because I mailed your box and I printed the label from home and stuck it in my mailbox with the flag up because we have one of those giant rural size mailbox where they could put a large flat rate box inside it.
So we have a good sized one. We have I don't know if it's as big as yours, but it's like this big across and it's like this tall.
Yeah.
But even still, our mail carrier has started because I think it's something they're just doing for the Christmas season because so many people are getting deliveries that our mail is now coming with a giant rubber band around it with so there might be like 2 or 3 little packages and then our normal mail and like a local paper or whatever. And it's all just in a rubber band and they're bringing it up and putting it on my porch.
Nice.
And I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm getting spoiled by this. Let me tell you.
A little candy cane treat or something.
Oh, they're getting a tip this year for sure. That is for sure.
So when I was a mail carrier, I was a rural mail carrier for just a sub for several years. So I would only do, maybe like a couple days a month or a week when someone was on vacation or whatever. Anyway, I always liked it when people put, those tiny candy canes that are like this big. Yes. I had one of my people, she would put those in there every day. And I was like, yeah, I was so happy. Because you can, fit most of it in your mouth while you're driving.
Right. Just keep going. Nice.
You don't have to be sticky. You don't have to be sticky or find somewhere to set it down,
Yeah.
But the carriers around here use rubber bands a lot just because it's so stinking windy.
Yeah. So, I can see that.
But then on the route where we live, they don't use a lot of rubber bands on this particular route. We have like a piece of either a horseshoe or there'll be a wrench or a big piece of like a faucet or a piece of joint pipe or something in there. And so they put the letters in and then they put the metal on top. So when you open the box, it doesn't go. Yeah. When the gust.
Do you follow up? I have a follow-up question for you. This isn't something we do here, but it's something that a lot of the people in Maine do. Okay. They have their post box has a post that and then an arm across, and then there's chains, and then it hangs from the chain. And the reason for that is so when the plow comes through and it hits the box, it just gets knocked. It doesn't get knocked over.
Yeah. We don't have that.
We don't do that. We don't do that here, but we could. Our mailbox has been taken out twice in the time we've been here. But what they normally do here instead is they'll get a piece of plywood or something and they'll put it on the plow side. so that it just hits the plywood and
Yeah.
goes off. But people will do, like, some people just put the plywood and it's fine. Other people do like all kinds of like decorations and stuff on it, like little wintry. Some people get like old what's it called? Skates, like old skates, and they'll mount those on it, or like just little wintry. People
Yeah.
paint them, and
I
then
should
they take them in when it's spring.
I should do something because where we are, uh there's 4 mailboxes on a rail, like on a wooden rail, like a corral fence post rail.
Okay.
4 boxes on this thing, and then the mail carrier turns around in my driveway because there's other houses, several miles on down, but we're the cutoff for how far they will go out, how far out of town. And so
Yeah.
those other people come here to get their mail. That's she turns around right here. So because there's 4 boxes, I'm like, I should like decorate the little, collection. But the plow just goes right on by. We have a little turnout, like a gravel turnout where those 4 boxes are. So what happens if it snows enough and the county plow comes by, they just pile up all the shit in front of the mailboxes. And then I have to get out there because we're the host house, apparently. I get out there with my baby Kubota tractor and scoop all that out and scoop all that away.
Right.
Otherwise, the mail will be like, nope, no access to the box, no delivery today. But normally,
I hate. They did that to us once. They did that to us once, and I went out. I'd gone out and shoveled,
yeah.
and I made sure that I shoveled in front of it. And I don't think they even stopped because
I'd be
we
calling,
just got
hey,
like,
yeah.
yeah. I was like,
But
I specifically shoveled that out. And then another time, there was like a big thing they had to deliver, and I had shoveled. Oh gosh, you guys know when I have to shovel. I am all over social media complaining about how much I hate shoveling when I have to
Abby.
shovel. There are not enough people I can tell about how much I hate shoveling when I have to shovel. So I went out and I shoveled, and I swear, Jana, like a quarter of an inch more had accumulated on the driveway. And we got a thing in our box saying could not deliver package, no access to the porch. I was
And
like,
you're like,
you gotta be kidding me.
nonsense. That's nonsense. One time the county plow came by, so the mail was able to come out. And then, they did this big drift. It was a mess in front of the 4 boxes. And I go out to the tractor because I'm going to do my thing, and there's no diesel. And I'm like, oh.
Oh
So,
no.
and now, when the plow comes by and makes that pile, it's packed, man. It is hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luckily, I had some help that day with one of the kids. One of the kids was out helping me, and all we did was we shoveled like a tunnel. We shoveled a walkway. It was about 5 feet long from where they could pull off and park, and then get out and create a tunnel. that's
Deliver. Yeah.
that's all I could do that day because I just didn't have enough diesel to make the tractor go.
Yeah. My husband has been out. We have a lady sometimes who delivers to us who is notoriously grumpy. And my husband went out one time and was out there. He was doing something in the yard and saw she was coming down the street. So he went and stood and just got the mail. And he just like straight up thanked her, like, hey, thanks for being our carrier. We always, seem to always get our stuff, whatever. And he was like, it like broke her brain. Like she didn't know how to handle being thanked,
Oh,
And then she was like so nice for like 3 months after that. She would like drive stuff up to the house that she wouldn't normally do that for, and just like, so as we complain, I just want to say, like, remember to be nice. And especially
everyone.
this time of year,
It's rough.
just be nice to those postal workers. I was in the other day, I had to mail 5 boxes the other day at the end of November. I had 3 prizes and 2 personal packages to send. And I went in, and this guy was working the counter. There were 2 guys working the counter, and I got the new guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working right. Like whatever he was doing was not working right. And I could see the panic set in his eyes.
Right?
Because we're a small town. There were 2 of us being helped, and then there were like 4 or 5 people waiting, which is a lot for our post office all at once.
Right.
And I just could see it in his eyes, like, oh no.
He's
And he
doing the
needed the
best he
other guys.
can. Yeah.
He's doing the best he could. And I just looked at him and I was like, I am in no hurry.
It's okay.
And I am happy to wait.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever you need to do to figure it out is totally fine with me. And he
And
was
this
like,
time of year,
okay, all right, fine. Okay, thanks. And I was just like, it's okay. I can stand here for 2 hours if I need to. Like, I am okay with what's happening right now.
the people behind you can just be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody in here can be
Some of the
nice.
year is
It's
really
okay.
hard too, because it gets dark earlier and the carriers are out later. And we live so far from town. Sometimes my gal doesn't show up until, 4:30 in the afternoon because
We used to, yeah,
she's had to go back.
sorry.
She's had to go back. I'm over
That
25
makes so much
miles
sense.
from town. So she's got a Jeep Cherokee, like rural mail, and the seats are down. But she's had so many
Uh-huh.
Amazon packages, she can only do like half the route. And then she has to go back, load up again, and then drive all the way back. I mean,
I'm so glad you said that, Jana, because we have like the normal, square US Postal Service delivery vans. Like that's what they use in our neighborhood, in
yeah,
our town.
yeah.
And we've gone from getting our mail about 1:30 to somewhere between 4:30 and 5 is
Yeah,
when it finally shows
yeah.
up. And I'm like, what is going on? But that
Packages.
makes so much more
Yeah.
sense.
They
Like
don't
there's
have
just
enough
not enough
space.
room in vans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have
that
to
they're
go
having
back.
to go back and
You got to
forth.
go back and
Yeah,
reload.
that makes
And
sense.
it's so one time when I was a sub, I subbed in the I usually subbed in this tiny town, but then they needed more help in a larger town, neighboring town. So I
Uh-huh.
was there, but I didn't know the route very well. And what's awful is in a rural place, like I was saying, you might have 4 to 6 or even more boxes in like a big turnaround driveway. And the boxes are numbered, but you don't know which house off in the distance corresponds to that box. So if you have a delivery that won't fit in the box and you have to take it to the porch, you're like, little panic, which
Yeah.
house goes to this box? Like, and if I had been
Yeah.
a regular, I would know that. But now it's dark. And if it's within a mile, you don't put a slip in there saying they have to come to the post office. Within a mile, you're supposed to try to take it to the house. I'm
Uh-huh.
driving around in the dark. I have my headlamp. I'm driving around. There's dogs. It's dark already.
Yeah.
And you just go to the wrong house. And then you're like, can you tell me where so-and-so lives? And they're like, it's 2 houses over. Crap.
How else are you supposed to know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So be
we've been
nice.
getting like
If you don't know.
lots of like mail going to our house that should go to someone else's and stuff
Well,
like that. And
they
we
have
just mark
temporary
it.
holiday. Yeah. They have temporary holiday.
Yeah, and so everybody's making do.
Everybody just be nice. Just
Yes.
saying, be nice. Take a breath. Your Amazon is not a crisis. It's okay.
I had so this, and it's not just the postal service. So we get that who gives a crap? Is that what it's called? Where it's
Now
the
you started me
delivery
on that during COVID.
toilet paper.
The
Yeah.
toilet paper comes in 48 in a
Yeah. I love it. We're never out of toilet paper. We just get it
Absolutely.
delivered to our house. Who gives a
Same.
crap? It's called.
Who gives a
And
crap?
I had paused it for a long time because with all our travel and stuff, we were
Had
ahead
extra
of what we,
rules.
and I was like, oh, we're almost out. So I went in, restarted it. They took the money. It's usually there within 2 to 7 days, I think they say. So, and then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, wait, we never got toilet
My
paper. Like what?
TP.
And we have like 2 left at this point, I'm like, I could have swore that I started that again. So I looked it up, and it's another one of the other carriers, whatever, and they take a picture of it on the porch
Right.
where it was delivered.
Oh,
And they
FedEx does
say,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And it was like everything was wrong about it. You could see the address where it was delivered to. It was like 2 towns over, gray house. And my house is
Somebody
not
else
gray.
got your
Like
TP.
someone else got a whole big box of toilet paper just dropped on their doorstep. So I just called the company and was like, look, that's not my house color. That's not my town. Can you please send me more? And they were like, no problem. It was here in 2 days. It was fine.
Oh, that's
But
really nice customer service.
yeah, but I was like, wow, that was really wrong. That was really wrong. That's like 2 full towns over from us wrong.
By the way, if you want to do that, you're the one that got me started on that. And it was like, 2020 COVID toilet paper crisis. And I started doing Who Gives a Crap. And we still do it. Here we are 3 years later.
Yeah.
And we get tissues like Kleenex from them also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do paper towels
Yep. And
and
they're good. They're good paper towels.
other random things. Yeah, I love it. I would not agree to use inferior toilet paper. I want good toilet paper.
And here's the other
Toilet
thing I
paper,
really
so-
like is it comes in a cardboard box and the individual rolls are wrapped in paper. So you don't have
Yes.
a big plastic package with plastic inside that. I mean, what is the point of that?
That's one of the reasons. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we started doing it, was because of the paper packaging for it.
Yep.
And like I've been trying to do all of this plastic replacement stuff
Yeah.
in our house.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was so happy to find, sorry, I had to count, was they make laundry detergent that comes, it looks like a dryer sheet. So
Oh,
you
I've
just,
seen
you either
that.
do a whole sheet or a half a sheet, depending on the size, and you put it in. I was like, this is brilliant. I'm totally happy for this. And a lot of you who've like been following me for a long time, you know, I was talking a lot about drops. I love drops. They
I remember
little
that.
pod things. Well,
Mhm.
I found out that those pod things are plastic. I always thought it was some sort of biodegradable
Gel stuff.
vegetable material,
Yeah.
and it's not. It's a form of plastic that will break into microplastics
Oh dear.
and get washed out of your laundry. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly the thing I'm trying to prevent.
Excellent.
I'm part of the problem. So that's why I started looking for like a solid form.
Yeah.
And so I was like, perfect. These sheets, perfect. And they even make a big deal. Like, yes, these have this special kind of, well, first of all, I was just like, perfect. It disintegrates, is fine.
Yeah.
And then I ordered a little box. The box is like that tall. It's that big,
Yeah.
that tall. And it was like 100 washes. It was great. And it worked great. And I looked into it more, and it was like, oh, well, those sheets are basically the same material as the pod covers. And I was like, so then I look into it more, and the company addresses it. They're like, yes, but it will totally dissolve with 1 week at the water treatment plant. It will actually totally break down. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
looked into it some more. The average amount of time that it stays in a water stays in a water treatment plant is like 3 days. It's not staying long enough to get exposure to all the stuff it needs to break it down. So it's not getting broken down. And then once it's out in the wild, it's not getting the exposure to the stuff that's going to break it down.
Yeah. And what if you have a septic?
Yeah. So I went back to just powder in a cardboard
Yeah,
box.
same.
I've just rounded back to that.
Yeah, and it's okay
it's
because like I read about that and like at least with Tide, I can't speak to other brands, but that is phosphate free and it's safe for septic, which is a concern for us. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can decide how much you're going to use. It's not, here's the other thing I don't like about the liquid jugs, besides that it's plastic, is it gets goopy. Like it makes a
It
mess.
does.
So the
It's gross.
powder's easier to measure. It's not as messy. And you know, it's just
There are members of our household, shall remain nameless, who don't like the powder because they feel like the powder's messy. And I'm like, well, do the scoop and like don't take it out of the box until you're done doing the scoop. If you're like scooping and taking it over, that's when you're just do the scoop, wait for things to settle, put it in. Very easy.
True. Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I'm back
wow, we've been
and you know
very
what?
random today.
And in this day and age, the powder works just fine in high efficiency washers. That was one thing that I was told was early on was like, no, the powder's only for top loaders. I'm like, it works just fine.
Yeah. Well, it would like get sort of in crevices and stuff in the
No,
early
well,
days. And I think
you don't put it in the drawer thing. Just put it in the bottom of the tub and throw your clothes in.
yeah.
You don't
Well, I do put it in the drawer and it works fine. It's not, I use the Tide for, I think it's Tide free and clear. It doesn't have any odors or anything added to it.
wow. You
Yeah.
can tell what's important to us because we don't go anywhere. Tweezers and laundry soap.
Ah, oh my gosh.
And back to the
You know what else?
Back to the
What now?
TP just for a moment. Back to the toilet paper.
Okay.
Just for a moment. They make the other thing is that I like about Who Gives a Crap is they make the toilet paper out of recycled office paper.
Ah.
So
we get the bamboo kind. So bamboo, totally renewable. Like that's going to be like sort of the next wood,
yeah,
is
you get the
bamboo.
bougie TP. Okay.
Yeah. I got a bougie bottom.
If you had a bougie bottom, you'd get a bidet.
I used to have one when my house in the Philippines had a bidet. Never once used it. Never once turned it on. We lived there like
Really?
4 years. Yeah, I was just like, I can't get behind this.
Ah, no.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I don't think you meant to say that. That was funny.
Did not mean to say that. Nope. Nope.
But see, the rest of the world thinks that we are awful because we don't literally wash.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No, they literally think gross. We are gross.
Well, we are.
And even like over there, when you like
Wash.
toilet paper is an added expense, and so people have like a little bucket of water with a little bucket that has a handle on it, so they just scoop it up, they do their business, they scoop it up, they pour it all off. That's how you handle it. Yep.
How do you dry? Do they have paper towels to dry?
No, I don't know. I never asked that specifically because I was in my fancy house using toilet paper. So I didn't want to press, I didn't want to be like,
Okay.
what do you do with your wet butt? Like,
You didn't have someone you could confide in and ask about that? Okay.
no, I probably could have, but like I did have friends there who would have told me if I'd asked, but I just felt like I'm
I'm
okay not knowing.
okay
I
with
don't
that.
need to know.
Okay, moving
I'm
on.
okay. Yep. Other things that we like to talk about.
Okay, let's see.
Can you
I'm
tell what that's supposed to be?
I was gonna say dominoes, but now
You're probably
it's
not going to know.
fruitcake. It's not shortbread.
Close,
Is it chocolate?
close. It is just the concept of a home bake in general. They're big on
Okay.
home bakes in Shetland. If you go to a gathering, they're gonna have the most delicious like pan baked desserts that you've ever had. So this is like shortbread with caramel and chocolate on top. It's called Millionaire Bars, I want to say.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Delicious, absolutely delicious. And it's so funny. Like you meet people who've moved up there. You meet women who move up there. There's one, Helen Hart. She's a great follow on Instagram. Helen Hart, Heart of Shetland.
Oh, I do feel
Um,
her. Yeah, I didn't realize that was her
yeah,
name. Yeah.
she's delightful, but she does she's a certified guide, and so she took one of our groups out on a walking tour of the town, and she made some comment about being twice the woman she used to be because of the home
all
bakes.
all the baked items.
Yeah. So it's a dangerous place in that regard, but man, they are good at it. They are good. Okay, I have the new color.
Okay.
I'm getting the name. Moily. Okay, that is not the color I am seeing. Let me see if by comparison. So it's going to be the top one. It's very similar to the one from the other day.
Oh no way.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now it looks
More
more
green
accurate to me.
and less blue.
So it's
more
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's this one. So
Okay.
again, Aister, moily.
Okay.
It's still looking a little more blue than in person. Looks a little more green in person.
Okay.
But yeah, delightful. So we have one more color coming
From them.
from the folks at Aister, who I want to say started in like 2020, maybe 2019. I want to say 2020, and they already have 50 colors
Wow. And the link
of
to their
yarn.
shop's down below, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They are delightful. I really enjoy them.
Excellent. Let's see.
People. Little vegetable matter. Always got to love that. Proof that your
Yes.
yarn's been
Authentic. Okay. Are
taken
you
in.
ready? Are you ready for day 10 stripe?
Yep. Oh, me.
Okay, day 10. So we had this
Ooh.
denim-ish, and now we have the darker sort of denim here.
Yeah, it's like faded denim and then new denim, newer denim.
Okay, and then we have the neutral.
Nice.
And now we have
Nice.
a way darker. For day 11 is going to be darker yet.
I thought I was seeing like red. I was like, what are you talking about? It's red, but that's your wire.
Yeah, that's my cable. Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
cool. So yeah, more darker.
More of a
Yeah.
sort of a going into navy.
Yep.
Going into
Digging
navy.
it.
Nice.
Digging it. Love it. Okay, I'm
Gotta
not
love
casting
it.
on anything else. I'm not casting on anything else. I'm not casting on anything else.
I do not have my projects that I've been talking about with me. I did get through the fence and started the sheep last night on the Build Your
Oh,
Own Barnyard. I didn't do anything more on the sleeve. What
okay.
I did have, I think I talked about this one. This was my movie knitting that I'm doing. Did I talk about this?
No. Well, if you
Or
did,
did
I
I talk
forgot.
about it with
So
you?
remind me.
So this is, I'm just doing it like based on the grandma's best
Oh, grandma's favorite dishcloth?
cloth, grandma's favorite dishcloth, where you just do a yarn over at the start
Yeah.
early on, and it otherwise just stockinette. Because I went to a film the other day. I went to see the new Hunger Games
Oh,
prequel.
yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
But this was my bring along because I don't have anything else to work on. It's this recycled cotton yarn. It's that looks like a stockinette chain.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know that kind of
Yep.
yarn?
Yep.
It's 45% recycled cotton, 50% new cotton, 5% other.
Okay.
And I think the other is because they use recycled jeans, and so, a lot of the times jeans now have like spandex or whatever in it, so
Or
you can't,
something. Uh-huh.
you don't
Right.
know.
Right.
And I'm just speaking of bringing it back to the laundry detergent. I have 3 of these balls. I'm getting closer to the end of the first one.
Okay.
And this is just going to be a mat to sit on top of our dryer where we put our laundry detergent and stuff. And
Yeah.
then if they do scoop and whatever, it'll just catch the powder
Okay.
there instead of it like scattering when it hits the surface of the whatever. So I'm solving problems.
You are. It's like the equivalent of having a mat outside your cat litter box. So when the cat comes
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
it catches the debris.
That's exactly the goal. And every week or two, I'll just lift it up and wipe off whatever's there.
Shake it out.
Probably wipe it straight back into the bin, whatever, you know, and then,
Wash.
yeah.
Or
And
just like
then, yeah.
fold up the mat, put it in the machine.
Yeah.
There you
It'll
go.
already be preloaded with detergent. So,
Fantastic. Okay.
okay.
Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know that people will see this on Monday, but still, that's okay.
Right.
Enjoy the rest
We're
of your
wrapping
day.
up a weekend. So.
That's right. Enjoy the rest
Yeah.
of the day. We might have snow on
Oh,
Tuesday,
cute.
Monday night. We'll see.
Like lot? Are they saying lots?
No, like 1 to 3 inches overnight. But today, something's moving through. It is stinking windy. When I looked at, you know how they have sensors on the interstate at certain points? I looked that up. The last gust was 73 miles an hour.
Wow. That is crazy.
So I go out to do chores. I'm taking water to the chickens and I'm, opening the door for the goats and whatever. The bird feeder's like this. And the birds are just woo, and they're just hanging on. There was 2 of them that were like hanging on. I'm like, woo, good job. Yeah.
We have a bird feeder that sticks right to our kitchen window on the
Oh
outside.
yeah, you used to take pictures of who was in there.
Yeah. And I was noticing yesterday, like the Cardinals are back. They have reestablished their dominance, and the Blue Jays and the Cardinals are back hardcore.
Oh, I look forward to
So
seeing pictures
that's
of that.
exciting. Yeah, I have to move a chair so I can get a better straight shot from where I sit at the table. Because if I move too much, they'll fly away.
Oh yeah,
So I
they'll
have
be
to sort of
startled.
like have my camera just there ready, just like when I'm eating or whatever, so I can just reach over and push the button.
So when
Yeah.
it's really, really windy like this, we have a set up a little windbreak for the chickens because otherwise they're like and they get pushed. They get pushed. It's disconcerting for them, you know. So, I took a couple of those green, metal fence posts and banged those in the ground, and then I put a pallet on it on the post.
Right.
So that's their little windbreak. So they're not quite so startled and they can, yeah. And then the goats are outside and they're on the leeward side of the wind. So they're fine. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We were looking around to see if any branches came down. We have a bunch of dead trees and stuff that needs to be taken care of. So yeah. So something's coming because the wind is bringing it.
Yeah, we had a sign yesterday that something's coming too. We normally in the fall, like I guess it's technically still fall here, you know.
It is. Tell the
In the
solstice.
but like in October fall, we get big swarms of birds on their migration south, and
Oh
they'll
yeah.
come for some reason. They love our yard. They'll come land in our yard, and they will just it can be hundreds. I can be sitting here doing something, and all of a sudden, I could just hear hundreds of birds on the wood side of our house. And if I look out the window, they'll also be on the grass, and they will just like move across the grass, and they're just eating anything that they can find, like hundreds of birds, little like birds this big, you know.
Oh wow.
And I hadn't noticed them this year, and I thought, well, maybe the route has changed slightly, or maybe they came through when I wasn't around, you know. They came yesterday. A flock come through yesterday.
Wow.
And I mean, the weather has been really mild so far. So I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe they just knew they didn't have to head south quite yet. And so
Now they're on the way
they're
though.
coming. They are on the way though.
Cool.
So is winter.
All right. Winter's coming.
Okay. No.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow, my friend.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.